Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to a new vlog. It is currently around 8:15 in the morning right now. Mo and Nalia have just left for preschool. I was thinking about what I wanted to film today. A few weeks ago, I asked you guys over on my Instagram stories to send in any requests that you guys had for content, specific video ideas that you want to see, topics that you really enjoy, and so many of you guys requested more content around motherhood, my life as a mom, our routines, just how we do things, and sharing more about that. So I wanted to focus this vlog today on this topic specifically, and I'm going to keep it vlog style. So I'm going to take you guys with me throughout the day and touch on a few of the most asked topics throughout the video. Before I get in the shower, one of the most requested topics to talk about was sleep. Our setup, our routine, we do co-sleep. So many of the questions was related to that. In my family and how I grew up, and I think for a lot of people in Europe, co-sleeping is quite common. With Nalia being our first child, we definitely explored all the options. And for right now, with the stage she's at, and for just like our family dynamic, this works really well. So she did, of course, sleep with us in the same room, but in a different bed that attached to our bed when she was a newborn up until she was like maybe 4 months old. And then from 4 months to around a year, she slept in her own room by herself. And that at the time when she was especially going through the 4-month sleep regression, she would wake up constantly from any little sound. And at that time, she just slept so much better in her own space, and she started sleeping through the night at around 6-7 months. I actually have a full dedicated video of our sleep journey for the first year of her life, which I will have linked down below, where I go more into details on the stage specifically. But yeah, at around the 1-year mark, I think it was maybe a couple months before she turned 1, she just decided that she wanted to sleep with us, and that was the only way she would sleep, unless we were like walking around rocking her. But as soon as we would lay her down in her bed, she would wake up, and it was just like impossible. A lot of you guys asked about sleep training as well, and for me, that would be right now like the only way that we could get her to sleep in her own bed. I did do a sleep training course, the Taking Care of Babies course, when she was 4 to 5 months old, because I was convinced that we were going to do sleep training because it was so rough at one point. But thankfully things started to calm and she got into good routine by herself. So we didn't need to do all of that. There's one thing that stuck out to me, like one moment that stuck out to me during that time. Mo and I, we were sitting together, we were watching her on the monitor. She was sleeping sort of like this, you know, with her arms up as babies do. And she just looked so peaceful and so calm. And I said to Mo, she looks so peaceful. And this was at the time that I was really considering doing the sleep training. And my comment had nothing to do with sleep training. I was just saying like, wow, she looks so peaceful right now. And I'll never forget, Mo looked at me and said, let's keep it that way. Sleep for me is such a precious and beautiful thing. I love sleep. I love my bed. I love my sheets. I love like my whole bedtime routine. Yeah, I always had like really positive memories associated with sleep, also when I was a child. And yeah, I think every child might be different. Of course, every parent and dynamic and family, like you have to find what works for you and what you're able to manage. I also watched so many videos around that time of other moms doing sleep training and just feeling like my heart with them so much, because some babies just unfortunately have a really difficult time self-regulating. It can take a real toll on the parents and especially the mom's mental health, and I think it's really important to figure out what works for you and your family. Of course, I'm just talking from my own experience. But yeah, sort of our routine is that we normally have dinner at around 5 o'clock in the evening. Then we usually do bath at around 5:30, and we're usually in bed around 6. Like, I say usually, this is like, plus minus 20-30 minutes. And then we get into bed, we read a few books, we turn the lights off, and then I will sing to her a little bit, and then she will drift away into sleep. I usually will lay with her for like anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes, and then I get out of bed and then I continue with my evening. I will go shower, get into my pajamas, etc. But this new bed has been absolutely incredible. I touched on it in my last video. The total width is now 270 centimeters, which I don't know what it is in inches, but I'll put it here. But it has just been so heavenly. I cannot even explain just the happiness that it brings me. Still figuring out the pillow setup. I actually ordered 2 pillows the other day that ended up being too hard, so I sent those back. But yeah, it has just been amazing. Okay, on to a little skincare. I'm going to use the Brightening Radiance Super Serum. This has vitamin C, salicylic acid, peptides, hyaluronic acid. It is just the most incredible serum. Really helps to brighten the skin if you have acne scars, hyperpigmentation, just uneven skin tone. And vitamin C is so important for collagen production, and it's a great antioxidant against the sun, and the consistency is just amazing. So when I was in the shower, I was thinking about the topic of sleep. I personally sleep so much better with someone. Like, if Mo is ever away, like, I just don't feel as safe, and I don't feel like I can get into like such a deep sleep compared to when he's there. And yeah, I think it's very, common for humans to feel that way. Like, we are community people, and when I think about a baby or a small child, like, I wouldn't want to sleep alone. I don't know. I feel like just as, parents love to sleep next to one another, it's the same with the kids, right? And maybe, some children are different. Some children maybe sleep just better on their own. But in our case, with Nalia, it's just so much easier to also like soothe her in the night. If she ever has a bad dream, anything that happens, like, it's just easy to soothe her, just give her a cuddle or speak to her. It would just be crazy thinking about like having to get out of bed and go to another room, pick her up, soothe her, put her back down. A little moisturizer. This is the Common Hydrate oil-free moisturizer, also from Nourished 3. Also, I love the morning cuddles. Like waking up, her saying good morning mama, giving me kisses. It's just so cute waking up that way, especially when it's really early in the morning. It's just nicer waking up like that compared to, having to like rush out of bed because she's crying. And also in the middle of the night, she will come and cuddle with me and give me kisses. Like, she's so affectionate and just such a loving kid. Obviously, she has her moments and her meltdowns, but usually at night she's just such like a loving, cuddly, sweet little girl, and I wouldn't change that, for the world. Like, I know eventually she'll want to have her own space and her own bed, but I'm gonna wait until she's ready for that, And again, like, you have to do what works for you, right? Like, this is what works for us right now at this current moment. Every child is a little bit different. Like, every parent is different. Every family dynamic is a little different. Again, you have to find what works for you. But you guys were so curious about it in the comments or in the Instagram question box that I posted. So I just wanted to touch on that and make sure that I really went into my thoughts about it in this video. gonna do a little makeup right now. We have a few meetings today. Our last one is actually at 7:30 at night because it's with our team out in LA. Obviously with the time zone difference, our calls when we have our like team meetings, they're usually later at night. That kind of brings me on to the next topic, which is the feeling of being overwhelmed and having a lot on your plate, especially as a working mom. I of course do my content here on YouTube and Instagram, but I also have a business. For those who are maybe new or who don't know, we have a skincare and wellness brand called Nourished 3, and it is a full-time job. We work on it every single day. We have employees and lots of responsibilities. You know, I think when you're an entrepreneur and you run your own business, especially the first few years, you're really involved in every single part of the business, from like daily tasks, daily operation things to big picture things. So Mo and I are really at it every single day. It is also our passion. Yes, it's a lot of hard work, but I feel like we are doing something really meaningful and purposeful that will hopefully have a really big impact on thousands of people, like more so than we've already reached. Juggling mom life on top of that has definitely been an adjustment. This is the Saie Airset Radiant Loose Setting Powder in Translucent, and it seems from all of your guys' responses and comments, a lot of you guys feel the same. I've definitely learned a lot along the way, and the thing when it comes to the topic of feeling overwhelmed and having a lot to do and staying organized and all of that, like one of the biggest things that I constantly ask myself is, what do I have control over? What is in my control and what is out of my control? For example, one of the things that I can, for the most part, control or have a little bit more like organization around is our environment, our space. You guys know we have like a very open concept here in our home, and Nalia's play area is right here, like off of the couch and in front of the kitchen and next to the dining table. So it's all very open, which I love. It makes it very easy, like when I'm cooking and preparing food, that she can see me and we can all be in the same space. But I keep the space pretty minimal and organized so that it doesn't feel overwhelming for me when I'm in this space. But she still has fun, has her things, has her toys and her little activities, and we keep the rest of the things in her room, and we sort of do this tour rotation that I've shared in previous videos. But for example, we have like bigger items like bikes and strollers, like little baby strollers, a bobby car and things like that, that are obviously like bulkier items. Things like that can really take up a lot of space. So we have half of her things, like her bigger items, on top of her wardrobe in her room. And if she wants something new from there, she knows that we got to take something from here and swap them. And this works really well for us. It keeps the space more minimal, and either way, she's not going to play with like, you know, 15 toys at the same time. And it is a lot better for me and my mind, and just like for, you know, the clarity and the flow of our home. I'm going to use this blush palette from Pearl Beauty. It is such a stunning blush palette. It's also got a bronzer, sort of contour, and 2 highlighters. I've been mixing this pink one, it's called Girl Next Door, with Easygoing, just more of like a peachy kind of like nectarine color. I really love it. Another thing is I really try to give it my all when I have my work time. So right now when she's in kindergarten, I get so much done. Like, it's crazy if you compare like what a couple hours used to look like before and after having kids. It is just wild, like how much you can accomplish and just how differently you look at time. So I've gotten really good at that, and I really try to sort of like squeeze the lemon the most that I can, so that when she's home, I can really just focus on her and not be on my phone, not think about having to send an email, and just be really focused and present with her. Because I definitely do feel a lot of guilt, like a lot of mom guilt, like not being around your child and putting your child in someone else's care. It can just get me emotional. I'm not gonna go into it too deeply. Yeah, it can definitely be very emotional, and the way that I've sort of learned to deal with that, calm that anxiety a little bit, is just really making sure that I'm using the time as efficiently as possible. Work-related emails, meetings, appointments, like even little things, like if I'm gonna be cooking like a bigger meal, I try to do that before I pick her up, so that again, when I'm with her, it's really just her and I time. Even though the shift of her going to preschool was really intense for both of us for the first like few weeks, couple months, now that she's actually settled and is in a really good routine and is actually excited to go, it's made things so much more steady and just so much more at ease, both for her and for us. So before she was in preschool, we worked with a babysitter, but the problem was that we never had a full-time nanny that, you know, we employed like full-time. So a lot of these babysitters, they could only commit to, you know, maybe 6 months or 8 months until they went back to school, or they did it as an intermediate thing. So when it was good, it was great, but whenever we had to change babysitters, it was so tough. Firstly, obviously finding somebody that you really trust and that, you know, fits in well with your family. Like the transition period for Nalia, like getting to know her, getting to trust her. And that was always a lot for, definitely for Nalia, but also for myself. And now when she's in preschool and she's just in like such a more like steady environment, it has made the world of difference to my personal feeling of overwhelm. And now I'm so much more able to manage my time, my responsibilities. Yeah, this new chapter has just been so cool and amazing for everyone. These are the highlighters. Even for Nalia, like she gets to do stuff that we cannot do with her here at home, like different activities. They do yoga and sports and so many different arts and crafts, music class and things like that. So she loves it, I love it. I've been so in love with the Persona Daymask in the color Bubble. This is their Peptide lip balm. It has really nice ingredients and it feels amazing on the lips. My lips have been a little bit drier now that it's winter. Then I take a bit of my lip liner. This is MAC Boldly Bare. Hello guys, I am now in the car. It is a little bit later. I have a couple errands to run and then I am gonna pick up Nalia, and this is always like one of the best parts of my day. I get so happy and excited to see her and hear about her day, the little stories that she tells me. And I've also realized the older she gets, the more of a friendship we build. So it's not just like a mother-daughter relationship, but it's really like a friendship, and we're able to have little conversations and she can tell me her feelings and, you know, things that happened, you know, things that she's excited about, or if it was something that upset her. She's no longer a baby, you know, she's like really starting to develop her personality, and our relationship, our friendship is growing, and it's just so sweet. Like even if I don't know, like I bump my toe or she notices that I have like a scratch on me, probably from her, she shows like genuine concern and genuinely wants to help me and like make me feel better, anything like that. Like she really tries to comfort me, and it's like the sweetest thing. Anyway, I feel really good about today. I got a lot done. I filmed, gonna run my errands now, and then we will pick her up. How was your day, baby? I missed you.
Nadia. Hello, Nadia. Like chocolate.
It looks like chocolate, yeah.
Ding, ding, dong. Thank you.
Welcome. My cutie boy. Another topic that was highly asked about was, does she ever have meltdowns and tantrums and all of that? And of course, I would say definitely we noticed like at the 2 year, maybe like 2 month mark, like 2 years, 2 months, where she really started like having these big emotions, as you would call them. I think no kid is an exception of that. It's just part of their development, part of their growth. Yeah, we've definitely had to practice a lot of patience. Generally, she's a very like happy, sweet kid. Jumping, jumping, jumping. But yeah, when those when those big emotions come, just very important for me that I try to stay calm and steady, like really like the calm throughout the storm, and I know that it's going to pass. From what I know, not every technique works for every kid. So again, it's so like individual to your child and what works for you. But for me, I really just try to be like steady and calm. I try to, if it's appropriate, I try to offer another thing like a distraction. And sometimes it's just like letting her, you know, have her emotions, and then it passes and then she's totally fine again. Yeah, I think you have to, you know, like know your kid. But something that I really have tried to do with Nalia since she's been a little baby is just be very communicative with her and talk with her. And yes, she's a child and she was a baby, but I try to give her the respect of an adult in sense of like talking to her, trying to explain things to her. Like I'm not like, oh, she's just like a little kid, she's not going to even get it, so I'm not even going to try. I try to speak with her with that same sort of like integrity that I would like an adult. Okay, it is bedtime. I'm gonna read these books for her, 2 books. On the beach and on the train. This is the Little World series, and we have a few of these books. They have different ones here, and she really loves them because they're like interactive, so you can, you know, pull different parts, and it's perfect for her age. I would highly recommend these. I'll have them linked. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Good night.
Good night.
Nalia is refusing to wear shirts, so there we are. Good night. Oh, okay.
Good night.